Liquid must be.
Unless it's a non-chloride, so it doesn't.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call a meeting to order. We have a quorum. I will take a motion to approve the agenda in the minutes. So second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Or no, I'm not. I said it too late. I was for. Motion carries. Rich?
Good morning. Bidding Association workshop went well. Learned a lot of things. I moderated one session. But for county business, we are renting a John Deere motor grader right now because we're having trouble with our Vogels. I did some searching. I got a price quote from John Deere on the machine we're renting. The rent can be applied to the purchase price, and purchase price they gave me after talking to, trying to get an idea from other county engineers, what they paid for in the past, what they've been told by John Deere and what some have paid. The price that they quoted me for purchase is reasonable for their machine. We've got it here. I don't know what it would take to get, you know, if we talk to Cat, what it would take to get a machine, but I've been told through that there's been a flip flop in prices with Cat versus John Deere. We don't have to bid equipment. So I'm really seriously considering when we do a budget amendment to a little bit more money in the budget to purchase that machine. It's taking, you know, even for dump trucks, they're taking over a year to get. So if we've got the opportunity to get our hands on something new right now, which we do, I think we jump on the opportunity before somebody else gets it. So I'll do a little bit more digging around, but I think it's for what those machines are going for. And we're getting a V plow modified to fit on the front of it. It didn't come with a V plow, it came with everything else. We've got the V plows, so we're just modifying the front mount to make it work on what's on the machine. And so I'll get more information to you. We've got some time to evaluate it. I've indicated to the salesman that I'm definitely interested in the purchase machine, so I think he'll try to sell it underneath us. So I think the opportunity is there to go ahead and jump on it. And so we might be doing that. Secondly, I know we've got construction plans to start working on for the TIP money. We also got notification from the Iowa County Engineers Association that there's another federal grant opportunity for us. For its road, I haven't even read it yet, what it is, but I think it has a lot to do with highways and roads that are on safe routes to school, anything that has ADA on it. So we're looking at extensions into towns that we are in charge of. Farm to market extensions that could either be serve a school, or I mean, every road serves the school as a bus route, most of them do. But we could probably find roads that are in need of paving that serve a lot of the categories that I haven't read the notification. They call it a NOFO, notification of funding opportunity, I think it's called. And so I'll read through that a little bit, but we know that there's one coming down the pipe, federal grant from the new bill that came out. So along with that, you know, we didn't get any money for the raise grant for bridges. I'm working that we can have the opportunity to find grant here for roads in both counties. Actually, we're busy, so don't think that I'm ignoring any requests or anything like that, but along with getting DOT budget program, now we throw these NOFOs in here, and I'm trying to finagle budgets and trying to figure out where the money goes. So I ask you to be patient.
Do you need assistance?
Uh,
Assistance? If
What?
there's all this money coming, do you need help to be able to put all that together?
We have, the association has grant writers. And that's where I want to pick a project that's gonna be great candidate for getting any funding if we can. So, you know, off the top of my head, I was thinking, I know I've got roads in Mitchell County and I'm thinking here, what do we have that goes into town? Or if we don't have something that goes into town, what's the next best road? And I keep thinking, well, if you can claim that it, you know, if it claims it links Northwood and Carpenter, we could maybe possibly think 105 for a grant, but I want to make sure that we can check a lot of the boxes off that they want to look at for, hey, this is a good project. And so
That would be great.
it would be, but we've got other roads in the county too that we could probably link together too. So it's just a matter of trying to find the right ones that are gonna fit.
Sign an expensive bridge in it too.
Right. So a lot going on here.
Couple drainage district bridges with no river bridges that way.
Well,
Near Carpenter.
and yeah, that being said, you know, there's bridges along that road that probably need to be repaired also, just to get the new, you know, to qualify or to open them up to that new oversight or the new overweight permit. So, I mean, there could be a lot of money spent on some of these roads just to get them up to the new standards that everybody wants to have, or, you know, sooner or later, you can only pour so much money into our system. And to try to get ahead of the game, we never will, but, you know, we're working our hardest to find out what can we do with the money we have and the structures we have to try to make them compatible for this new oversized permit, that we can make, you know, the products move easier, but man, it costs a lot of money to do it, and there's not enough money in the permit return
No.
to pay for that stuff. We all know that.
So 100 guys here in the county apply for a permit. I mean, how much is the county gonna get back from that permit fee?
So when they
No.
apply through the state, they pay their $500.
Yep.
75% of that money goes back to the counties,
To
not
the
necessarily
counties.
this county.
Right.
They divvy it up. What we were told at our meeting, when I was down at the conference was, I think the state has 1,000, I'm gonna be wrong. Did they have 1,000 permits? 500.
Already they had to file.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, 1,000 permits, 500. I was going back and forth, and then they divided up. You know, I think the 75% of the money was around $300,000 to divvy up between all the counties that are participating.
So I don't know, nothing.
So it amounts to maybe $5,000-6,000.
I think there's a lot of people waiting.
I know there's a lot, I've been getting phone calls, and a lot of people are just waiting. Yeah, they're waiting to find, because they don't want to put all that money in for a certain, you know, just for, okay, well, I can drive on one road.
Right,
Right.
if it's not a normal route for them, they're not gonna buy that permit because it doesn't pay.
Right.
But if it's something that they're taking every day and they can get that permit, well, then they'll.
Now,
They can make that money back in a quick hurry.
and we do have one really small stretch of road that produces a lot of revenue for us and that's not usually being used by locals.
Right.
And so I really don't want to put that road in for everybody else to benefit from. It sounds sneaky and greedy, but that stub road, that's ours off of the terminal. When they bring the towers in, if we were gonna issue the annual oversize on that,
We'd lose money.
we'd lose money.
Big time, cause you get so much a truck or so much
Mhm.
truck permit on those, right?
Well, and a lot of times they were doing single trips, but then they decided that they were getting smart, saying, well, if we do an annual oversize on our trucks, it's a little cheaper for them, but we still get 100% of the money. So instead of them doing a $500 permit with the state, they do I think it's $300 or $400 to us, but we don't have to share that.
Right.
So there's kind of a strategy involved, and it might sound kind of, because they might lobby the heck out of us and say, well, shoot, I gotta buy your oversized permit to drive on this 1,000 feet, or not even 1,000 feet of road, to get on the state highway where I gotta pay another $500 fee just to be on their all systems permit. We could probably get kickback, but it's our road. We don't have to have it participate at all.
Right. Well, and something like that, that's more of a specialty thing that's not always here, so.
Right,
You know, if it was affecting the terminal directly with their daily business.
right.
I'd maybe,
We'd have to consider that,
Consider
then,
that,
but you're
but-
right.
but it's just a
It's a periodic thing.
Yeah,
It's not anything.
so I mean,
consistent.
it's, when it does come in, we should make money on it, cause that is a lot more weight than
Oh, yeah.
just your standard drain truck or fuel truck or whatever, so. Oh, yeah, I would. Yeah.
Yeah, we're- We have a lot going on. So, good. That's all I've got for you.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Drainage. I see you got a deal from, here, get me up to date, cause when I came in, on DD 21. There's an easement down there that's not part of, was that annexed in? That they're surveying right now, remember that?
The pond,
The pond.
Yeah,
yeah, the pond, so when they did that, they're bringing all that water into that pond, I think to slow it down.
Right.
And then
Well, it's
part,
nutrient.
yeah, nutrient reduction, part of that was the city of Northwood. Was involved with that with DNR when they built their wastewater plant. So by them. They were part of however building it,
Mhm.
and they get credits for their wastewater by building a nutrient reduction. And then they basically gifted it to.
Yeah, it's owned by DD
DD21.
21.
Yeah, they gifted it to DD 21, but they built it, it gives them credits with the DNR for nutrient reduction on their wastewater plant. So then it became DD 21, so yeah, technically every farmer that's a part of DD 21 owns that property. It's not county, it's not, anyone personally, but, so yeah, that's where that happened, so all that water drains into their nutrient reduction, then it outlets into the creek, which is just a meandering creek or
Mostly
whatever.
correct.
Yeah.
way of looking on
And
that.
we
It's got a
use its
little
way
bit.
down south.
And that's what we're still trying to get on autopilot so that, we don't have to do reports to the state anymore.
Yeah.
I
I
just
just close that.
Uh,
A lot of
So-
that happened before I came in town. so-
There's some seeding and stuff that needs to be done and I don't know why they're surveying, but
I thought
Well, he said
Elliot
he
was going out there.
We're
to-
putting in stakes.
Yeah,
but
for just property pins,
Oh,
basically.
maybe actually. Surveying.
Making it
law.
official.
Making it official.
More like,
Because I think Elliot was out there,
well, you did some
Mhm.
work in
Fixes.
the creek.
yeah, the creek coming into it. And then I think maybe did a little repair on the outlet as well, but
Oh, could be.
while he was there.
Yep.
So, and and then I know there's a little bit of grass, they wanted a certain breed of grass and they wanted gone.
Oh,
And I think that got reseeded, didn't it?
I don't think so. I think that'll be this spring, I
Okay.
think.
So, yeah, Elliot was going there, fix some of this, just some slumping or something going on in there. Erosion
well,
of
that
some
could
sort.
have been, yeah, farther back on the inlet side, there's always some issues back.
Yeah, and I think that's where the bulk of it was at, was right there where it comes in, so.
Okay, I just seen it come through and I want to get up to date on it, so. Was there any drainage claims? Then the next thing on the agenda is DD 6 to set an informational meeting for repairs.
And we don't have enough fun going on. We want
Yeah.
some more.
So, well, you can explain if you want, but I got a visit from, one of the landowners up there last week, one day, he pulled into the yard and he was. Probably
He
talked to you,
called
and
and told me
he was a little confused on, he said 46, I think it finished, that is.
Yeah, first, I thought he said 46 and it ended up being 6, so then we found, and then,
Yeah,
the last thing I kind of saw was back in April 22, BMW came and sprayed, but they said there was, the trees were
Yes.
too large.
so there's about a quarter mile, pretty good sized cottonwoods up there, just one side. The other
Mhm.
side's been taken care of, it's just on one side, and it's literally, I think a lot of the rest of the ditch is pretty treeless. There's a little tree, maybe a few trees farther up, that could be in the right of way, I would assume, which again, I'm guessing DD 6 has not been looked at for
Mhm.
50+
It's
years.
been a while.
It does go on up all the way up to Silver Lake, actually, I think it goes all the way up to the outlet, correct? Without looking, I didn't really look, but it
Yeah.
meanders its way up there, so. You know, I kind of told him we still have to get a landowners meeting, you know, I think we can go in and remove those trees pretty reasonable. Yeah, it'd be less than DD 10 was, I mean, there were way more trees down there, it's just. I didn't go up and count them, but they're. So, I mean, we could get somebody like Elliot or somebody like that, or get a couple bids and just get those, he just wants the trees cut down before they start falling down and blocking the channels, what he wants. But like I said, I did explain to him, I said, you know, doesn't mean that somebody couldn't come in and say, I want more of that ditch clean, which. Then if it does, then we'll have to get an engineer involved, if that's what the people wanna do. So we'll just set up an informational meeting, and if they're okay with, nobody cares, and we just get the trees, we'll just find. get a couple bids on the trees and have them taken down.
I think we stand, well, the threshold's pretty big now, so I'm sure we'll stay underneath it, but we still, we have to need to.
Well, it was 40,000 to do 10 down there, and that was well over a half mile, and there was a lot more trees down there.
We'll get them done. But
Yeah. So it would just be, I mean, that just runs up to a whole bunch of peat ground, and if some guys are seeing some issues where it might involve some cleaning, but you know, that's just how it works. So, yeah, what time frame do we need to set the,
It doesn't matter on information, we
informational
don't have to
meeting.
go.
I say sooner the better, we know you gotta mail everything out.
Yeah, cause I should be able to mail postcards for this one, so I was wondering if we could do it. Monday's a holiday, Tuesday the 21st, that would work,
Is,
February.
February, yeah.
I'm,
So that would give me enough time to
I'm
get
okay with that.
notification out to them.
9:30.
Add it to my list of other drainage districts.
yeah, we can do this.
job security with drainage.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. It's time they're starting to die and they're starting to run. out of
If
things.
people actually show up, it'll be good, but
Yeah,
otherwise we'll end up with the same mess we have with every other one, then we get to the engineers and then. Why are we paying for this?
exactly.
So
Well,
it's
this
just
is their chance to
frustrating.
come in and say, what, if they're just happy with the trees, that's perfect. And we won't look any farther with them.
Well, and then we're not wasting time trying to get some bids on our own, and then it ends up in the engineer's hands, turns into more of a project. Let's just do it once. If everybody's happy with just the trees, don't think there's other issues, then that's what we'll go after. If there's other issues, then we'll make the
Now
next
let's go to the
step.
next step. All right,
Tired of getting chewed on about these ditches.
We have had quite the meetings. Okay, so, claims.
So that a motion?
Oh, yeah,
I'll motion to set the date for 21st, February 21st.
come in to-
there's a second.
I'll
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on it? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Claims.
Questions?
Not on the regular claims, I guess.
Oh, what is CTA abbreviate for?
What's it under?
I'll ask you later.
Yeah,
There's a bunch, I saw a bunch of those in there too, and that was kind of.
Yeah, that was a new one. I've never seen. It said service CTA.
Yeah, we got DAP.
Clerk.
And there was a lot
Or
of individuals' names there.
or,
Oh, court. They
District
did
court.
her.
or grand jury.
Gotcha.
Court administration.
You don't see it very
Yeah.
often because you don't see jury trials very often around here.
Every other year.
I'll make a motion.
Are you really? Yes.
Your second?
Is there a sec?
Sorry. That's a second.
Yeah.
to the claims.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Then while we're.
We gotta talk about,
Yeah,
Bill, I'll sign that later. We got a bill here on the Worth County Treasurer's Office for the work that was done there. And we really hadn't
Okay, to discuss it.
okayed it or discussed it.
and it's almost $5,000.
Yeah,
Yep, 4978. I don't think any of us thought it was gonna come anywhere near that, but
no,
I didn't know, I knew we needed a bathroom, but I thought you guys needed to approve it before anything happened.
yes,
And it was already done and I got a bill,
Is it in his budget?
no,
no,
no.
and I mean, it's a courthouse facility, I mean, so.
It needs to be, it need to be done. It should have been done 20 years ago, just
But-
because of, but, and I, so and as far as it getting done, I don't disagree with that, but.
no.
But
it
it-
wasn't-
we
it
just
wasn't
need-
his budget.
We just need the department heads to come to us when they got things that they wanna do,
Well, especially it's outside. the
that's
budget.
not in the budget.
If it was in the budget, I'd say, if he had it, if he could pay for it out of his budget, fine, but.
Right.
If it's not in there and he needs extra, then it should have came to us. But
So,
I mean, it's,
yeah,
it's one of those things we probably would have had no choice on, somebody could have forced that issue, but.
And that, yeah, they should have.
But it
already
should
had
have,
that
again,
set
like you
up.
said, it's
But
been that
it
way
should have
for
been
20
in-
years, 30 years.
It should have been in
It's-
somebody's budget,
Yeah,
cause I can't afford many more of those probably.
That's why,
Cause we cut out all the repairs out of the budget. I
Pretty
mean,
much,
You know, we don't keep anything in it. We don't have anything.
Can I ask the question? How is my building, is the building where they're classified as a courthouse building, or is it my?
It's part of a.
We've always kind of just,
facility. I mean,
whenever we've
it's-
done something, we've kind of always, we.
You have
bought
your
some-
own fund,
Well,
so
we
it's kind of
bought
different.
countertops, we put our lab up there, we put sinks in, did some plumbing, and I don't think we brought it over here, but I guess I never
You
did
probably
ask the
built it.
question whether or not
You
it's.
build it in your budget.
Your building or our building, I always consider when I do my budget, I have a building maintenance fund, and it usually applies to shops, but I got something simple, I just kind of take care of it.
Mhm.
So it's a county facility. I mean, just like.
I mean, it's taxpayer dollars and it doesn't have to do with secondary roads, I just didn't know how you guys classified it as, I mean, there's some things we.
So I would say, if you needed something major, that's definitely
Like we-
something that would be.
We upgrade lights, we
Yeah.
take care of that, I mean,
It's, you have a fund, it's in your budget.
I just didn't know how you guys looked at it so
Right.
much as. if it
Yeah,
was-
because like with me, I have large.
You do the same thing?
Yeah,
Weekly,
pretty
so
much.
jail and that, I mean, I can't approve every one of them.
No,
No, but you build it in.
I build, well, it's in there, or we use other sources.
I mean, you can't, I know you can't build it 100% of those things like that. I mean, this is something that's been lived by for years. Nobody complained,
But-
nobody said nothing. And now it finally came to a head. And
we just need them
But
to
a
come to
simple
us.
bid through
simple
here,
bid process,
Yeah.
yeah. But two bids, whether somebody wanted to throw something way out of whack out there, and the other one was whatever, I know contractors do that. But. Yeah, it should have been approved, but. So,
I can talk to Jake about it and make sure,
cause I emailed him exactly that it probably needs to get done, but it needs to go through the board.
yeah,
Get me a bid and it'll go through the board, and I
Yeah.
never saw anything, and then I get a bid,
I
or a
told them
bill.
the same exact thing. I said, it's great, they're working here, it's as cheap as we're probably gonna get it, we need an estimate.
Yep.
I don't think if it's gonna be, if it comes in at a certain number, then we'll probably go after a second, but if it's low enough, we probably don't need a second estimate.
right,
So that's exactly what I told.
Oh, and he took it as go ahead.
right, absolutely, yeah. Which shouldn't be
but as
that.
far as the rest of the department heads, they need to.
Gotta watch that.
If you're on this Zoom, make sure the word gets spread that we need these.
Especially if you don't want it to come out of your budget.
Yep.
I know.
Just might have to,
So,
go ahead, you know?
Yeah, no, that's. Well,
reports,
Motion to approve payroll claims?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the payroll claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Liquor license.
Those signs, so that
Hold
one
on.
can go back. You're on a mission
Yeah, they were piling up here.
Need a stamp it.
now. We've had those before.
Winnebago, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, one guy's an official stamp, or one person's official stamp.
Just freeze this.
Any liquor license?
No. Oh, in the report though.
Oh,
I think one last one.
Motion to approve the reports.
is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion to approve the reports. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Any place?
Yep. So no payroll, no liquor license, no addendum from Joyce yet.
There isn't?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm no further on in the budget because I was kind of waiting to see how things shook out with,
State?
yeah,
Well, the info we got last week was they're trying to push for the state to pay for their mistake instead of making all of us extend our
didn't happen.
budgets and
That didn't happen.
that
It
didn't
didn't get
happen.
through.
Mm-mm.
cause they're, they got a fund that's sitting at about $1 billion and they were looking for 27 million. It was gonna affect everybody instead of going, making us come up and clear up the garbage, they're hoping to get it paid for, but.
That was nice, but what that made me nervous for was next year.
Look, it's still gonna-
Because then, you know, we'd be up here and we'd have to, you know, come up with a lot, but I mean, I know valuations with all the reappraisals and stuff, we might have some wiggle room there, but still. I just,
Was there,
a bailout didn't seem, I mean, other than.
yeah,
It would have been
It would've been
easy,
our
it would have been
money.
easy for. right
Yeah,
now.
it would have been easy.
It would have
but
made
yeah.
everybody's life easier now, but.
so talk, and they said anything about extending the certification deadline for the budget to April
Um,
1st or something like that.
At this point, April 30th
30.
is hopefully what happens, but it's
Which-
gotta go through the House.
Yeah,
That's what's happening this week.
Right.
So,
which is not an excuse to delay working on the budget.
No. but when you don't know how much revenue you have, it's kind of
Exactly.
hard to. And I'll start on it again,
Yeah.
but I
don't think it will affect us as much as it does like bigger cities, but it's still gonna affect us.
I had a lot of county guys we were talking to, they're really upset and confused and not sure what they're gonna do, so
I was gonna say,
we're not
what
the
are
only
others
ones.
doing?
Oh, they're all in the same boat,
They're all in the
they
same
know where the money's coming from.
How much does that affect? the
Same,
county?
along with the county board
Well,
recommendations.
that's,
so,
I'm not sure yet.
Yes.
no, we don't have that.
no. That'd be nice if they would have given you an estimate right away, they should have.
It would have been nice if. Had it part of valuations in the first place.
It should have been part of the evaluations in the first place. If not, then they don't delay things and make it right.
Cause now we're gonna. And,
All they're worried about is getting out of there by May 1.
yeah, everything's gonna be backed up.
But right now, we have until April 30th, that bid.
Well, that's not approved
That's
yet.
not
That's where they're
approved.
looking.
We're
That was
still-
the rumor.
We're
still in
That's what they
limbo.
were looking for down there too,
That's
so.
what the Senate has passed, but it's still gotta get through the House and it's gotta get signed by the government.
Which they should be able to do just like that.
Well, they got other things done. too.
Yeah, well,
Not
they
real
can-
quick, but
That's really not, I mean, it's debatable, but it's not, so they should be able to run that through the process a lot quicker if they wanna do something someday instead of
Well, they
debating stuff that's really unimportant.
you'd be surprised, there was still debate, not very much.
Well,
but
I'm
there
not
was
saying
still
there
debate.
shouldn't be
Somebody out
debate,
there
but
wants to-
there's things that they debate that are totally way less important than what getting this is for the county budget, so.
Yeah, cause it affects all the authorities,
Absolutely.
So.
so that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. Board appointments. I found somebody for eminent domain and I emailed you that, but I don't think, did he get the application to you yet?
I haven't looked too much at my emails yet,
Oh,
but we can do that.
I
next
called
week.
Jerry Olson.
Oh,
he's an
yeah,
engineer,
yeah.
And he
Okay,
said he'd be more than happy to do it.
okay,
And I told him, to go online and he knew how to do that anyway, so
I'll make sure I
and he
have
can
that.
just email that to you.
Yep.
That's what I told him.
Okay, cool.
Is there an addendum to the Joyce agreement?
No, we
He
haven't
said
gotten
he
it
hadn't
yet.
got that yet.
I'm sorry, I missed hearing that.
That's okay.
So, did you get a hold of Manley? Okay. Winworth Betco, Melissa, are you on?
Morning. We have the Worth County Forums on Friday. So it'll be at the Olson Room at 10 a.m.
I won't make it either. I
I gotta be, yeah,
second
I do gotta be
judicial
doing the
district meeting.
I'll be there.
good.
We'll send AJ as our representative.
All right, that sounds good. Then I'll be in Des Moines tomorrow all day for that renewable fuels conference.
Anything else?
I think that's about it.
You guys got any questions for us? Thank you, Melissa. EMS, continued discussion. I got a text late at night after the meeting that said the Northwood Volunteer Fire Company was going to become an ambulance service.
Yep, I got that. Well, you sent it, yeah, you sent it
I
out.
didn't, I figured you guys got, I got
Friday
it from
morning.
somebody else, the
Friday
morning when I woke up. but
Yep.
I didn't see
And
it
then
till later.
Blake did call me Friday. Got some Friday afternoon, so.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds like they're gonna try and go at it. And get a transport service here in town, so. Which is good. It's the one town that needs it the most.
He called me and he said the two things that are coming up is he's gotta talk to the township trustees to figure out where they wanna go. He pretty much figured Deer Creek, Grove and Heartland, but he needs to talk to Brookfield and Kansas and Barton and see which way they wanna go and how they wanna do this, if they wanna stay with the fire. And that was one of the things he was concerned with. And then after he said, once we find out how that's gonna get done, Then he said he'd go down to Mason City and try to straighten that out.
Well,
Where,
and what's the actual procedure for, changing ambulance?
Just for fire districts.
Or fire
That's up
Our
to the township
lines.
trust.
that's up to the township trustees,
Is
the
there a
way,
procedure or? what?
Yes, there is
Yeah.
a signed document.
Yeah,
And I talked to Blake on that, he knows that. And I told him that as far as our office is concerned, we need a minimum of a 2-month notice because we have to go in and re-enter everything in CAD.
System.
And that is done manually.
Mhm.
So
I discussed that with him, that
I'm guessing you're looking.
you got a lot of hours tied up.
well, they're figuring January, which she's, or July, I mean.
July.
Which they're gonna need that much time to get it.
Yeah.
It'll be hustling to get it done by them, so.
I guess the first thing is the townships and who's governing what.
Well,
Yeah,
Get that straightened out. That would let you know what's going on too.
well, we gotta know too. We'll figure out the rest of the county. I mean,
we still have, yeah,
funding and
you know, we still have a portion of the county that we need to decide if we're gonna go with, you know, assist with payment for Mason City and Port City to get through this next year, and then in the meantime, that's, I'm gonna have to talk with our trustees and probably Grafton's, because that's leaving us out in no man's land. And so we're gonna have to come up probably with an agreement with Mason City. And the trustees are able to levy, in their levy for fire, it says they shall provide fire protection up to whatever that is, 50 cents, 50.75, 58, I don't know what it is, and may provide EMS. So if the trustees want to levy to provide EMS services in those townships, they can. That's their
That's
choice.
the way I understood it too.
So I'm gonna
But
go
that's
talk,
still gotta get in their budget, which is out for this year.
that's out for this year. That's,
Yeah.
that'll be it for starting for next year.
Yeah.
Because there's no way it'll get done this year. So I'm gonna talk with Manly's trustees, and I'm gonna talk with Grafton Fire and get in with their trustees as well. And see if it's something that they wanna look at, so we can try to generate some money. I'm also gonna talk to the city of Grafton and the city of Manly.
And you're gonna have
as
to
well.
catch that east edge of Danville too.
Yeah, and we have on our fire board, Manly's fire board, we have Danville Township trustee, because we cover part of that, so. We've got everything that Manly would cover, even into Cerro Gordo is a part of that. So we can have that conversation. Now, he'll have to go back to the other trustees, because Hamlin Town covers and Forest City covers the other direction. So those Danville trustees will have to meet and discuss that, but. And the other, obviously, we only have one trustee out of 3 on our fire board. I think there's 3 in every township, isn't there? Right?
3 trustees.
Yeah. So they'll have, like I say, the one that, as our Lincoln trustee, he'll have to go talk to the other 2, which they're maxed out anyway, so they just gotta decide if they wanna put some of that money towards ambulance services or not, you know, so. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
well,
is-
levy's not above the fire levy or
Yeah,
a combination of the
I
two.
thought it was.
There's-
The fire levy.
yeah, so if, right now the fire I can't remember what that number is, but that fire levy can go to there. and
I want to say
think there's something,
7.5 when I was in, but I could be wrong.
I think there's something in there to say,
60.75.
and I think there's something we can go another like 21 cents if that does not. If the township is
that.
providing it, they can go like another 21 cents to,
I remember
Help
reading
cover
that
that.
too.
I gotta read.
Yeah.
I've read it 100 times, but I gotta read it again to see how that actually laid out, so I don't wanna speak out of turn here, but. So basically, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do is. go to
And probably-
Manly and grab
And
it.
probably Danville will keep the line the same there. This
Wow.
part will go to Mason City, this part will go to Forest City. You just gotta,
But we just gotta see if the trustees want to take their levy, raise it a bit to help fund the ambulance service. So that's what's gonna have to happen, but I mean, for this next year. I mean. That's not gonna change what Mason City or Forest City wants to do, so, or needs to do.
Mark says your numbers are correct.
Are there?
Mark.
So, like I said, I read it 100 times, I'm pretty sure, but I don't ever wanna speak unless I see it in front of me. Right. No. So, yeah, but as far as getting through this next year, you know. I guess it's up to you guys, we wanna,
well, the biggest deal is if they're gonna get this going by July 1st. Then it would change Mason City's numbers.
not necessarily. Because there's one ambulance, or they have two vehicles, but what do they have for personnel? How often are they, or how
I
often
agree
are
with
they
you.
gonna rely on Mason City to pick up the slack? So this first year is actually probably not gonna change. Because nobody knows what's gonna happen yet, even though they're. July 1st isn't here and that's not started yet, so what happens if it's August 1st or September 1st? You know, so to me, I don't think anything is gonna change this first year, other than if they get their, if and when they get their service going, they will provide at that time after. But in the meantime, we gotta look at the next year. So,
Yeah, it's kind of like a paper column, so everything's set up type of deal,
right, which,
and we just rob from Peter to pay Paul.
I did not get a chance to get on and talk to him either. He invited me down. Between the state meeting last week, I did not get some, maybe when I go, next time I go to Mason City, I'll stop and talk.
oh, Carl.
Yeah,
And I talked to fire chief down there. And he's actually said there is another Des Moines County in the state that's going through almost the identical thing that we are right now. They had a very premier volunteer ambulance service down there. They had the average between 25 and 30 members, like 8 paramedics, 4 ambulances. They covered Des Moines County, Burlington, down around Burlington. Right now, they are in the process of closing that because they have no volunteers anymore. Burlington is taking over all the ambulance services and going to the county for $330,000. And that's just for 3 personnel, because they need to hire more people to cover that now. So even one that was at one time,
Push.
doing great, that's all disappeared too down there, so. He said it's really weird, but that's almost identically what has happened. I mean, a little different, we didn't have the service, we're losing it, but they're getting to that point where we are gonna have service.
and things could change for them too, because they're gonna pay a stipend
What?
for Northwood.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're kind of setting it up like Winnebago's got theirs. So,
So I mean, I guess we'll just have to discuss more budget stuff, but we may have to try to get through this next year, and then in the meantime, I'm gonna have to go to my area and start working on that, and whatever they figure out up here. The west side's pretty well covered, they didn't want to change anyways, so.
No, they still have the option to.
But there's still, somebody's still gonna have to come up with $40,000 over there. So those township trustees will need to start talking too.
Yep.
They'll just have a little more time to do it.
I think I recently sent you the tax levy rate limits, and the township levies are in there also.
Yeah.
And all I see is there's the 60, 75 for regular fire and emergency services. Then that's for townships and counties under 300,000, not serviced by a special charter city fire department. And then there's 74.25 for townships serviced by fire departments from special charter cities, whatever that means. And then the other one is for townships and counties of over 300,000 or more, which we're not even close to that. Yeah. And then otherwise, there's the assessment expense, FICA and IPERS, an emergency levy, but that requires state appeal board approval to levy. Unemployment and tort liability levy. I didn't see any 20 some cents of anything.
Mark says it's Iowa code 359.43.
already have 20 cents.
I can't remember how that plays
Yeah,
out,
it's
but
just,
it's
they
in
must
there.
need to update this because it's not in there.
Yeah, and I've got it printed out on my desk. I've read it. I can't remember what the stipulation was, but there was a possibility to take it, which we'll see, because right now Lincoln is the only one that's maxed out in our district, so.
Yeah,
The
the others
others-
aren't even close.
The others would just maybe.
Clear
kick off
Creek
theirs.
doesn't do any.
Right, you know, and like our district, you know, you get over Union and Barton, or Barton. You get that area like with Graff, and they, you know, they don't go as much, so they may need to bump theirs if they wanna participate, you know.
I know at one time when I was a trustee, Lake Mills Fire came to the Bristol trustees and said, we want the max amount, which whatever that was, but it didn't mean we went to max levy because the choice fire wasn't asking for it.
Right.
So we were able to do it within. I think we had to raise the levy a little bit to give their whatever amount they needed, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know we give a budget to our trustees every year, our fire department does, so. And that's how it's based off of that too, so. That's just my thought, I guess we're just gonna kind of have to
figured out.
go forward with the next year, I think, and then. It gives everybody else time to. Even Northwood's gonna have to talk with all their trustees too, you know, so it's, they may get it done by July 1st, but. The rest of us gotta come up with something too in the meantime, so, and it's obviously. There's no budget set for it.
No,
It's
it's not.
within the trustees, so that would be next year before the trustees with budget for that. But that's all I can say is. I'm gonna have to start working down there in my district down in that corner anyways and see what we can do for Manly and Grafton. But in the meantime, I think we need to keep Mason City and Forest City going because. Everybody over there is gonna have to keep, we're gonna have to figure something out too. With on this beyond next year.
Yeah, we just, like Blake said, he said, I gotta find out what the trustees, which way they wanna go. First, so I would like to hear that. I'd like to hear back from that too, as far as how it gets broke down.
They've done the first step, they just gotta do it.
And sooner rather than later.
Easy part's putting out a press release.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get everybody on board and get stuff together.
So. Anything else on the ends? People services, Chris on? Department head discussions. Go ahead.
I did have my newest jailer put in her 2-week notice. She got hired for quite a little bit more in Minnesota. So my plan right now is we will advertise, but I probably won't be, I'm only gonna be collecting because she was the only one that applied last time, so. But we'll probably hold off until after budget to actually replace that person, but I do think I need to get advertising going to try and get some names. Obviously the email you sent out, that individual, you can do what you want. I would suggest not responding to him.
Nothing we can do.
Nothing, it's out of.
I'm not an attorney.
Right, and that's kind of what we've been telling him for 4 or 5 months, so, he is definitely. We deal with him on a daily basis, so, just FYI on that. Otherwise, I know AJ called me on the Narcan, I got him some information this morning. For the last 3 years, we've been getting it free from public health, state public health, so. And I think fire departments, it's kind of worded weird in there, but I think fire departments can get it too. Cause he was looking for ways to spend the opioid money and we're getting it right now for free. So we did pay for it the first 2 years.
We'll find out. We'll find out on the fire departments, because if not, then maybe it'd be a good thing to go to the departments. If they have any new people, we can get them trained on it and supply them with Narcan as part of this
I
money.
think that's a good
And
idea.
it's good for a year. It's got a year shelf life on it roughly. It does expire. It's only a year again, you know, but if we can get it for free, so be it, go get it for free. But I do know that fire departments were having to pay for it. So, and so was the sheriff at the time, but maybe we're,
Public schools and stuff too, I mean, I don't know what they, I mean, it doesn't hurt.
I don't know if they've got any in schools or
I don't
not.
know.
We'd have to ask on that.
It would be all on their protocols and that and what the state says, because law enforcement, the way it's weird out there because EMS has to go through a long training on it and law enforcement, we watch a 10-minute video and we're certified.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's different characteristics and I don't know how it would fit everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then we gotta retrain on it 10 to 15 minutes and review our policy once a year. I mean, ours is really simple.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to check with them.
Well, so we'll look into that. I mean, it's, you know, and then with this substance abuse thing coming in, if it looks like they probably get grants from the same, monies from the same thing, but. And we'll see if they're gonna get into schools or if we can help them get into schools with it. You know, I don't know, just.
So possibly public health could use some of them for more in-school type programs.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing.
Training, I mean,
Yeah,
so they wouldn't have to rob from another fund to
yeah,
do that stuff.
no, exactly. So
But it's possible, but.
just trying to get the conversation going and if we can utilize, we have to use it for this, so.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to try to see if we can
the money's there.
get some notification out there and help out with, if people need the Narcan or whatever that have to pay for it, so,
It sounds like the fund's gonna get bigger.
yeah.
Yes, it is. Any other department heads out there? With anything?
I believe we're gonna try to get, the phone system updated on the 20th. If I don't hear any objections to that, that most of the county will be out then. So it'll reduce the impact of, not having phones for the day. We're gonna be scheduling some trainings, the week before that. To get people trained on how to use the new phones at their desk, so.
Sounds like a great idea.
Sounds good.
I mean, just,
I think
it won't
down to
disrupt any
one.
offices and.
Get down to
Well-
one phone here.
the sheriff's department is always interrupted with any.
And we know you're special.
Well, and you can
But-
focus on
and-
them.
And I think
Yeah.
the court here is still on Monday, right? So it'll impact them, but, the rest of us will all be gone, so.
Are we gonna have to switch to Armageddon?
No, the Armageddon is not tied to this at all.
I know, but are we gonna have to, if we go down, are we gonna have to put some kind of an email out that we're using our Armageddon?
Oh,
Because that'd be much better to get that out ahead of time
Yes.
instead of last minute.
I will make a note of that. We'll try to get that posted with the announcements.
That's good.
Good thought, Dan.
How long they think, any idea how long they think sheriff's office will be down?
I'm not exactly sure. We've tested already, so they believe everything's ready to go that way. So it shouldn't be a long thing. It would be hopefully. I would hope to see, a switch over of, well, the thing is, you switch the system and then you have to switch the individual phones. So we'd have to, the system switch itself should be fairly quick, but then we have to go out and replace the phones. So we'll have to change VLANs on ports on the switches, get the phones put in. So it'll be overall an impact of, probably a couple hours, at least in their department, getting those things all switched out. But then the actual downtime would probably be, where there's no phones would be probably 15 minutes.
Not bad. That's right. So then do we get down to one phone here, then you just need to show up for training or?
Yes, he does.
Get the numbers down.
During that time span, we're probably gonna have to reroute 911 then to another county, so we're gonna need kind of a real set time frame when we're gonna be dead in the water, so we can accomplish all that.
Sounds good. I will make note of that as well.
Any other department heads?
You might notice that I have Heidi on for, the wrong day. I'll
Okay.
have to switch that to Tuesday and see
Yeah.
if she's available.
Okay.
I always forget that.
Yeah, she mentioned that to me in Des Moines,
Yeah,
that you got a hold of her, and she said the
Yeah.
20th.
yeah, cause we need to know how we can go ahead with debt. Because we need to have debt to utilize the wind turbines that we have. And if Rich can go ahead, that'll buy us some time, but we need to know how everything else is gonna shake out too.
We talked a little bit Thursday, so.
Okay,
Kinda, yeah, we gotta, but you got projects going for bid, so we know,
Our two bridge projects are gonna be end of this month or early March.
and you got one in February for a road too.
That road is, I don't have a local project for road. The ones in February are federal aid, SDP money. I don't have the other ones started yet because I've been so busy with everything else.
No, that's why we know you got stuff that if we can get a bid, we'll get started. We know you can spend the money this year, so.
Yeah,
are you gonna get anywhere close to the 6 million?
if I get the road projects in, that'll be quite a bit. I don't know.
Okay.
how close it is.
Probably, I think we kind of estimated it was about 4 of the 6 was some roads.
Yeah, and Heidi said down there, if we get that much in there, she said.
That'll
it's
buy
gonna be
us
good.
time.
Yeah. So, but that's probably good to have her on.
Yeah.
All right, on to supervisor weekly reports. We had the assessors conference board that you guys all went to, and then the statewide supervisors meeting. And, pretty much discussed everything we've discussed in the past year. There wasn't too much new stuff in there. They did bring up the back the blue and everybody back the blue, and we had one individual say that it caused a lot of problems with deputies between counties, and now also between the county and the cities within the counties are all, and it really, she was not very happy. As I picked up from it,
Yeah.
so she,
Well, and just the range of,
Differences.
yeah.
on the compensation board, it messes the whole thing up.
And one of the comments that she made was, the state came in and said, you know, you should be paying your sheriff according to the lieutenant in the highway patrol. And then they don't give us anything to
No,
come up with
no
money to do
information.
that.
And no.
So it really
information
caused
on-
problems in their budget down there. So. But other than that, there's a lot of other stuff. I'll let you guys touch on that. AJ, how was your week?
I had Dycog Monday night, a little later than normal. Myrtle had an opportunity to go to India with the University of Iowa on a school trip, I guess you'd call it. So she went there for like 10 or 12 days. And University of Iowa paid for everything except for her expenses of getting to the airport and back. So
They go to like Dubai or something, or?
no, Caraway, India or something like that. It's right on the side of a mountain and the Indian Sea, something like that. So it was just amazing how much different it really was, but how they utilized a lot of their, their natural resources. They have garbage pits where they throw all their food in there, food products only. Put them in these pits and lids, and it creates methane gas. They pump their methane gas. It goes over to another spot for a heat source. I mean, it was really, really cool. She said that she learned a ton on that trip, and it was just, they used her because she's been in the planning, for 20 years or whatever, and that's why they came to her. And so it was actually pretty neat. But as far as business wise goes there, everything's going good. 6 new buses. The company says July or August or something, but they've been on order for a year and a half, so. If they show up, they show up, we'll see, but, otherwise everything's going good there. And then, the statewide meeting down there was fairly interesting. I know there's some, top of the EMS down there as well. On eliminating county lines, trying to go more over, get into maybe regional a little bit, but even with that, if you go as an essential service type, everybody's still got to vote it in, so it's kind of I'm not quite sure where that's gonna end up. It may eliminate some lines, but it's not really changing anything, so we'll see where that one plays out, but a lot of good networking down there, that's for sure.
Kind of the side of that would be then, if they went David County could basically levy the townships they were covering.
And then that might be something.
That's something that they were looking at.
Yeah, they can't do it now, but if they eliminate the county
They
lines.
get rid of the county lines, then you get a district, and then within that district, you levy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, I will see how that plays out. And that's all I had last week.
I had the same thing as they did. The only difference I had with public health on Friday, just went over the budget, missing right on where she's supposed to be. Discuss possibility of, auto replacements in there on a more regular schedule a little bit. We're definitely going ahead again with trying to apply for a grant to get one more replaced. I mean, in the past, we run the wheels off them until they pretty much don't move.
They really need to build that into their budget.
Yeah, we're talking about it, so something that maybe we can look at for next year now, but we had that, Dr. Seaman said that she's really struggling keeping her license and stuff, so possibly she'll probably do it one more year and then we'll have to find somebody else to replace her, so.
That has to be. a doctor.
Position.
Yeah, or did they change it to be a P?
Nurse practitioner.
I think Jesse, I thought Jesse again, she's not on. I thought she said they'd changed that, but maybe I'm wrong. But it's just getting to be, like she said, for what she does and a little bit she practices, it's getting to be so expensive to keep her licenses up, plus her own training. And she's not getting, she gets to the point, I think she enjoys what she's doing. It's been good for the county, and I mean, there's just how you could ever compensate somebody for what she does for the board would be pretty tough, so. Right. But anyway, that was the discussion. Other than that.
Is that another opportunity for county sharing or?
A board?
Yeah, I don't know, cause I don't know how many we have in this county.
Really, unless they're a nurse practitioner, there is no other MD.
I don't think there is.
Finding one that can do it in the time frame, like we run a board, it would be in the morning, and it's tough for somebody that's practicing to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, not that couldn't change, but.
Who's the physician here? I here in town.
Stilly,
Still, but
But
but she's still not a doctor.
And she doesn't live in Worth County, I don't think.
No, she lives in Freedom.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
so, I mean,
And there's another one too, but I don't know where she lives.
yeah, there's. I don't know, it's something we'll be having to figure out, I guess, going forward, and maybe it's something we need to be talking to our representatives about, that possibility, do they have to reside if they're willing to serve, in the county, or do they have to? I mean, it isn't like she has any other responsibilities other than she's there for the board and signs for whatever Jesse needs and stuff, so I mean, it's.
Is there a better compensation you can give to entice somebody, or I don't know.
Probably what I have.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I can't remember what the total dollar for, but just, her state and her licenses alone, and then the continuing education, I mean, it's a 2-year deal, but the continuing education runs into $1,000 in order for her to keep those licenses, because you have to show up for the training, you got your overnight stays. Like I say, could that be built into the budget legally? I mean, some kind of compensation for their training. and
Some
their
of those boards
license.
you're not supposed to pay,
Right.
other than mileage to a meeting,
Most-
so.
I
Most
know
of them
those
are
people-
that way.
Yeah, that's the thing, there's.
if you get by with the word stipend instead, I mean, I don't know, I mean, those are things I think we'll have to look for, I mean, we'll have to continue to discuss through the years, she's gonna do it this year, so she'll still be with us this year, but, for sure, and then, well, actually, probably, I think if she does it again, that covers her for 2 years roughly, so we probably have a 2-year period to adapt, and, because we have to have somebody.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to that, so
Mm.
that was it, I guess.
Thank you. Next week's agenda items for review. Anything else that we need to add on there?
Corrected the
Oh.
date,
February 24th is 8:30 AM is the assessors conference board again.
yes.
I never hear about that.
For public
2/24 at 8:30 AM. Anything else that's
At
needs to
what?
be on there?
What time?
8:30.
Oh.
No, we're gonna notices for anything, other than got the public forum on there. If I won't be there, like I said,
I'll be there, I'm gonna go. say that.
I would have otherwise. Yeah, it's-
Yeah, I usually left it on Saturday, so, but I guess it interferes with their families, and I guess I understand that, so.
You don't get family time when you're an elected official or.
Just you don't. There's any other changes, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.